All right, welcome back. So I wanted to start off directly with the accountability seminar. And again, the purpose of the explanation on the seminars is about the level system. And the further I'm getting through this, in order to really kind of explain a daily schedule, you really kind of got to understand the mechanics of what's going on in our daily schedule. Because again, it wasn't just a, you know, if you stood at the top of the hill and you looked down there, minus the lines of boys and matching colors and some of the other elements of it, if you were able to just look down there, it would look like a paradise. I mean, it would. It looked like Paradise Cove. Exactly what it said. I mean, the beaches were beautiful. Fungatelli Beach was just, oh my God, white sand all the way down to the water. It was about the size of a football field, maybe a little bit shorter. Um, and then just up the beach, off the actual sandy beach, there were papaya trees and palm trees and a few other different trees. And then it got back up to where the bank went pretty much vertical and kind of went all the way around this beach. Um, and passion fruit out there, and just, I mean, it was just. And Fungatelli was the more recently, or had been the more recently developed. The huts there that we stayed in were really, they were really nice. They actually had blue tarps that came down, and we could raise them up, and the walls on them were real short. But during the day, on a nice day, it was really nice to have that breeze blowing through. But I mean, Fungatelli was a paradise. I mean, it could have, if you took the program out of what was happening on that beach at the time and switched it up to, say, I don't know, a senior trip or something like that. I mean, it would have just been, oh my God, those kids never would have forgot it for the rest of their life. It was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. Um, So now that I've complimented it that much, let me explain to you about this seminar specifically. It was the most influential. The first day, we all got in there and they got right to it. It was the same room, the school folly on Funga Beach. Kids came over from the other beaches to Funga to go to those seminars. Um, they all happened on the same beach every time they came through. Anyway. They started us off, and it was one chair at the front. And okay, so we formed a line, and there was a chair in the front of the line, and the person at the front of the line stood on the chair and faced the line. The line sort of fanned out, so they could all see now the person standing on the chair. And the person standing on the chair, I don't know that they said anything or what. I don't really. I think they were questioned about a few things to start with. And it turned into just a battering of this person verbally. And the purpose of this was to discover the number we ran every day. There was a class clown. There was a bully. There was a joker. Those are the three I remember. I was a nightlight. Mine was that, when I was around the popular people, I was scared, and I didn't, I was scared. But when I was around the not so cool kids, oh, I was hot shit, So the theory was that, in a dark room, yeah, you could see me, but as soon as you click the lights on, Kale disappeared. And this was the number that I ran. A lot of fear-based stuff is basically what they were saying. Coward and a lot of that kind of stuff. And I tell you, that stuck with me. I don't remember it as if it were a video, and I can recollect that event, but not that first part anyway. That was the first day. We went through every kid. Some of us made it in, and some of us ended up going back to our beach or back to our families. Whatever, if we couldn't accept the things that we were hearing, if we couldn't accept the feedback we were getting. We were taught as soon as we got there that feedback is purely information. If I have a purple spot on my forehead, my friends are going to be like, "Hey, kid, you got a purple spot on your forehead. It's something I can't see." It's kind of that booger thing. The booger thing. You talking to somebody, maybe you don't know them real well, and they got a fucking booger hanging out of their nose, and you don't want to say anything, and you just kind of let them walk around with a booger hanging out of their nose. I mean, we all do it. We don't say anything. We just let them. But that's the whole point of it. It's like a friend is gonna be like, "Hey, dude, wipe your face. Got a booger." But that was the theory behind feedback. So whenever we would receive feedback in these situations, negative or positive, we couldn't rebuttal at all. We had to listen to it. It took me a long time after leaving that place to be able to defend myself, I guess, in conversation, because I had been so programmed not to respond to things that people said to me. If I didn't like what they had to say, then I would just dismiss it, and I didn't say anything about it. If I agreed with what they had to say, then I would join in their conversation and discuss it. Anyway, back to the seminar. The second day, they brought us all in, and we had to create this costume and exaggerate this number we were given just in a block party, they called it. They started playing music, and fights broke out. And that was the point. That's what they wanted us to do. They wanted us to run your number, they said. And we started beating the shit out of each other. They didn't let us fight for very long. There were a lot of staff in there. A lot of the big Samoan staff were in there. They let us engage long enough to bash each other a time or two, and then they'd tear us apart and pin us on the ground and let us scream and fight and kick until we got to sobbing tears again and gave up and got up, and they'd be like, "All right, go run your number." And we did that all day. I don't know how many fights I got on that day. Fights, call them fights. Yeah, by the end of it, I think there were 5 or 6 of us left. The others I don't know how they ended up not in there, but I don't know. I was doing my own stuff. But by the end of it, it was all of us in a circle, crying and bloody and snotty, and they were taking the fight out of us, they said. We were continuing to fight for these things that were damaging our lives every day. And they wanted to show us what we were doing in a literal and physical situation. So that was definitely the level of extremity in those seminars. I wasn't the only one like that. That was the only one where it was a group effort of violence. The others had, small little bursts of violence where somebody would sort of explode and it would turn into somebody would get hurt and it'd be bad and they'd be out. So there was another seminar I don't really remember. I know I got booted the first time I went to it. I was full of shit for the first 8 months I was there. At least the first 6 months. I was still trying to play my little game. So enough about the seminars, I think. I want to move straight into kind of the level system, I guess, now, and kind of a daily schedule thing, and try to wrap this up. I do want to make this a history thing about who I am, and there is a lot of stuff after Samoa. I mean, I'm still only 17. I got there, what did I say, October of 1997. I turned 17 in that December, and I didn't leave until I was 18 years old, and they couldn't keep me there anymore. So, we'll see you on the next one.